Fluent English does not begin when you know enough words. It begins the moment you stop waiting to sound perfect.
Excuse me, that feels illegal. I was told fluency arrives like a movie star, late, beautiful, and wearing perfect grammar.
I know, a lot of learners think, one day I'll wake up and suddenly speak smoothly. But real fluency is usually much quieter than that. It grows in small, almost boring steps.
So you're saying fluency is less like fireworks and more like watering a plant.
Exactly.
I don't love that. Fireworks are more exciting.
True, but plants stay alive longer.
Fair. And if that idea made you pause for a second, stay here, because today we're talking about how to speak English fluently, step by step, without losing your mind.
Hi, I'm Anna.
And I'm Jade. This is Easy Talk English, and today's episode is for B1 to B2 English learners.
So please, relax. You do not need to catch every word. Just listen, enjoy, and take what helps you.
We're going to make fluency feel clearer, calmer, and more possible.
And here's our question for you. What is the hardest part of speaking English for you right now? Tell us in the comments. Let's start with a feeling many learners know very well. You understand quite a lot, but when it's time to speak, your mouth suddenly becomes
A broken elevator. Nothing moves, everyone waits. It's tragic.
a little dramatic, but yes, many people freeze up when they have to speak.
That phrase is perfect, by the way. Freeze up. Your brain is there, your words are there, but suddenly everything stands still like a deer in headlights.
And here's the important thing. Freezing does not mean you are bad at English. It usually means you are afraid of making a mistake in public.
Which, to be honest, feels terrible. You want to say one simple sentence, and instead your brain opens 17 tabs at the same time.
Yes, you're thinking about grammar, pronunciation, vocabulary, the other person's face, your own face.
My face is always doing too much in a second language.
Jake, that is not just in a second language.
Rude. True, but rude.
I remember this happened to me when I was learning Spanish. I went to a small cafe and wanted to ask for soy milk. Very simple. I had practiced the sentence in my head while walking there, but when the barista smiled at me, I became hesitant. I forgot the word. I smiled back like a confused tourist in a shampoo commercial.
Did you get the soy milk?
No, I got regular milk and a strong lesson in humility.
Beautiful. Painful. Educational.
But that moment taught me something. I was waiting to feel ready before I spoke, and readiness is tricky. Sometimes it never arrives. You have to speak before you feel completely prepared.
I agree. Mostly. But I think some learners push too early. If you know 5 words and one of them is banana, maybe don't start with international business meetings.
Of course, I'm not saying jump into the deep end with weights on your ankles. I'm saying take the next small step.
Better, because for 1 second you sounded like a motivational poster in a gym.
Thank you, I think. Fluency grows best when your steps are realistic, not huge, heroic steps, small ones. Order coffee, ask one question, introduce yourself, record a 1-minute voice note.
Right, get the ball rolling. That phrase matters. You do not need to kick down the door. You just need movement.
Exactly. Speaking is like pushing a bicycle at first. The beginning feels heavy. Then the wheels start turning.
And once the wheels move, you think, oh, maybe I'm not hopeless.
Yes, and if you're listening right now, this is for you. Do not measure your speaking by your worst moment. Everyone has awkward moments. Everyone.
I had one in English, my own language.
Please tell them.
Fine. I once said congratulations at a funeral.
Jake.
I panicked. My brain grabbed the wrong social sentence. It was a disaster.
That's terrible.
I know. The point is, even native speakers mess up. So if you make one awkward mistake in English, it is not the end of your story.
Not even close. It's just one moment. And fluency is built from many moments, not one perfect performance. The second part is about habit. People often ask, how can I speak fluently? And they expect a secret.
Yes, a magical app, a hidden button, a British wizard who appears and says, now you sound amazing.
Sadly, no wizard. Usually, fluency comes from steady practice.
There it is, steady. I love that word because it is not sexy at all. It's not fast, it's not glamorous, but it works.
Exactly. A lot of learners think they need long study sessions. 2 hours, perfect notebook, perfect desk, perfect mood. But in the long run, 10 minutes every day can help more than 2 hours once a week.
I want to argue with you, but I can't. I learned this the hard way with exercise. One giant workout followed by 6 days of lying on the floor is not a fitness plan.
Thank you for that honest image.
You're welcome. I paint with truth.
When I was teaching online, I had a student named Lucia. She was intelligent, hardworking, and always prepared, but she spoke very little because she wanted every sentence to be perfect. So I asked her to do something tiny. Every morning, she sent herself a voice message in English, just 1 minute. What did she eat? What was the weather like? What was her plan for the day?
That sounds almost too simple.
It was simple. That was the power. After a few weeks, she spoke more easily in class. She still made mistakes, but she could build up her ideas faster.
I had a similar habit once. I used to warm up in English before meetings. I'd walk around my room and describe random objects. This lamp is suspicious. That chair has no ambition. This notebook knows too much.
That is ridiculous.
And effective. My mouth got used to moving in English before the real conversation started.
That's actually a great point. Warm-up is not only for sports, it works for speaking too.
Thank you. Finally, my strange behavior is educational.
Here's a metaphor I love. Fluency is not a light switch. It's more like sunrise. At first, you can barely see anything. Then slowly, the shapes become clear. Then one day you look up and think, oh, it's bright now.
That is much prettier than my bicycle image.
Thank you.
Mine had emotional wheels.
Sure.
But let me push back a little. Sometimes people hear small steps and use it as an excuse to stay comfortable forever. They say 1 sentence a week and call it growth.
That's fair. Small does not mean lazy. Small means manageable.
Exactly. You should feel a tiny stretch, not panic, not boredom, a stretch.
Yes, if your practice is so easy that you never struggle, you may not be growing. But if it is so hard that you avoid it, you won't keep up.
Keep up is important too. You need a pace you can continue.
Right, because consistency is what changes you. If you speak English only when you feel inspired, you will be waiting a long time.
Inspiration is unreliable, like a cat. Sometimes it sits with you, sometimes it disappears for 9 hours and returns with attitude.
That may be the most accurate thing you've said today.
I contain wisdom and unnecessary drama.
So if you want a practical plan, try this. 1 minute speaking to yourself, 1 short sentence to another person, and 1 small review at the end of the day.
And yes, speaking to yourself is normal. I do it all the time.
We know.
That sounded personal.
It was slightly personal. Now we need to talk about something that blocks many learners: perfection.
Ah, yes, the shiny monster.
Some people think fluent means never making mistakes, but that is not true. Fluent often means you can continue, repair, and express yourself even when the sentence is imperfect.
Say that again for the people hiding behind grammar books.
Fluency is flow, not perfection.
Beautiful. Put it on a mug.
I once worked with a student who had excellent grammar. Excellent. But in conversation, she would stop after every sentence to check herself. It was like driving a car and stepping on the brake every 3 seconds.
That sounds exhausting.
It was. She knew a lot, but she couldn't use it naturally. So we practiced continuing instead of correcting immediately. If she made a small mistake, she kept talking. Then later, we reviewed it.
I love that. Because in real life, people usually care more about connection than perfection. If you say, yesterday I go to the store, most people still understand you.
Exactly. The conversation does not die.
Unless you say it to a very angry grammar teacher hiding in a bush.
That is not a normal situation.
You don't know.
Here's a surprising thing. In many conversations, listeners understand meaning from context much more than learners expect. Even if your grammar is not perfect, your tone, keywords, and the situation help people understand you.
Yes, human beings are actually very good at filling in gaps, which is lucky because I leave gaps everywhere.
That explains a lot.
But wait, I want to disagree again. Grammar still matters. I know you're not saying ignore grammar, but sometimes people hear a comforting message and turn it into a dangerous lifestyle.
Fair. Grammar matters. It helps you be clear, it helps you sound more natural, but during a live conversation, communication comes first. Study grammar separately, then let it support your speaking instead of controlling it.
That's the balance. Practice structure, but don't worship it.
I remember my own turning point. I was hosting a small event and I had to speak to a group from 3 different countries. I suddenly hit a wall. I forgot a word in the middle of a sentence. Normally, I would panic, but that day, I just went around the missing word. I used simpler English, I used my hands, I laughed, and the conversation kept going.
That's such an important skill, going around a word you don't know.
Yes, it felt like reaching a closed door and noticing there was a window right next to it.
Perfect image.
So, if you forget a word, do not stop the whole train. Describe it, use an example, use a simpler word. Keep moving.
If you wait for perfect English before you speak, you may wait forever. But if you speak with the English you have today, your English tomorrow will be stronger.
Yes, that's the heart of it.
Also, can we talk about the emotional side? Because sometimes learners are not just confused, they're embarrassed.
Absolutely. There is real vulnerability in speaking a language that is not fully yours yet. You may feel childish, slow, or exposed.
It's like trying to dance in shoes that do not fit.
Exactly.
And then someone says, relax, which is the least relaxing word in the world.
True. That's why kindness matters. You do not become fluent by bullying yourself.
Say it louder.
You do not become fluent by bullying yourself.
Fine. Calm truth. Still powerful.
The final part is this. Fluency grows faster when language becomes social. Exercises help, but eventually you need interaction.
Yes, at some point, the bird has to leave the nest.
That is a very dramatic way to say, talk to people.
I stand by it.
Many learners stay in safe practice for too long. They read, they listen, they repeat. Those are useful, but if you never speak up in a real conversation, fluency stays theoretical.
Like owning running shoes and never running.
Exactly. You can know a lot about speaking and still struggle to do it.
I had this problem with cooking. I watched so many videos, I felt like a chef. Then I entered the kitchen and produced fear.
Fear is not a meal, Jake.
It was a strong flavor, though.
Real conversation teaches you things textbooks cannot. Timing, turn-taking, reaction words, what to do when you don't understand, how to break the ice with a simple question.
Such as, how was your day? What are you working on? Or my personal favorite, do you also feel weird at networking events?
That one is honest, at least.
Honesty breaks the ice faster than fake confidence sometimes.
I had a student who joined an online speaking group every Thursday. She was nervous for the first month. She would prepare little notes and still sound awkward. But then something changed. She stopped trying to impress people and started trying to connect with them. Her speaking became warmer, more natural.
That makes sense. When your goal changes from perform to connect, your whole body relaxes a little.
Yes, and that helps your language too.
I saw something like this with a friend who moved abroad. He told me my English improved most when I stopped treating every conversation like an exam.
That is such a powerful sentence.
Right? Because many learners carry invisible test papers in their heads. Every sentence feels graded.
And that pressure makes it harder to speak naturally.
Exactly. The conversation is not a courtroom. No one is waiting to sentence you for using the wrong tense.
Jake?
Too dramatic?
Way too dramatic.
But memorable.
There's also something encouraging here. Active use of a language, even in short conversations, can help vocabulary stay in your memory better than passive review alone.
Because words want a job.
I love that.
Thank you. A word in a notebook is unemployed. A word in a real conversation has a purpose.
Exactly. That's why speaking helps so much. It gives language life.
So what should a beginner actually do this week? Let's make it concrete.
Good idea. First, choose one daily topic: food, work, family, weather, your plans.
Second, speak for 1 or 2 minutes out loud, not in your head. Your mouth needs practice too.
Third, have one real interaction, even if it is short. Ask a question in class, leave a voice message, join a language exchange.
Fourth, after the conversation, notice one thing that went well before you notice what went wrong.
That is so important.
Because if you only collect your failures, your confidence becomes a museum of sadness.
Again, dramatic.
Again, correct.
Let me add one more thing. Celebrate tiny wins. Maybe today you did not sound fluent, but maybe today you spoke faster or you used a new phrase, or you recovered after a mistake. That counts.
Absolutely. Fluency is a staircase, not a teleportation device.
Yes, and every small step matters, even the boring ones.
Especially the boring ones. Those are the bricks. You build with them.
I think that's the big message of this episode.
Start small, stay steady, keep speaking.
Even when it feels awkward.
Even when you freeze up sometimes.
Even when you're hesitant.
Because in the long run, those small moments build up into real fluency.
Step by step.
Not movie magic?
Not movie magic.
Fine. But if a wizard does appear, I'm still interested.
Let's slow down now and take a short word tour. These are useful words and phrases from today's conversation. First word, hesitant. It means unsure or a little nervous about doing something.
Example 1. I was hesitant to speak in class, but I tried anyway.
Example 2. She sounded hesitant at first, then she became more confident. Repeat, hesitant.
Repeat. Hesitant.
Next word, awkward. It means uncomfortable, strange, or socially difficult.
Example 1. The first conversation was awkward, but the second one felt easier.
Example 2. I laughed because there was an awkward silence in the meeting. Repeat, awkward.
Repeat. Awkward.
Next word, steady. It means regular, calm, and consistent.
Example 1. Her English improved because she did steady practice every day.
Example 2. You do not need fast progress. Steady progress is enough. Repeat, steady.
Repeat. Steady.
Now a phrasal verb, freeze up. It means to suddenly become unable to speak or act because of fear or stress.
Example 1. I always freeze up when someone asks me a difficult question.
Example 2. He knew the answer, but he froze up during the interview. Repeat, freeze up.
Repeat. Freeze up.
Next, build up. It means to grow slowly over time.
Example 1. You can build up your speaking skills with short daily practice.
Example 2. She built up her confidence by talking to new people each week. Repeat, build up.
Repeat. Build up.
Next, warm up. It means to prepare your body or mind before the main activity.
Example 1. I like to warm up in English by talking to myself for 1 minute.
Example 2. Let's warm up before the lesson with a few easy questions. Repeat, warm up.
Repeat. Warm up.
Next, keep up. It means to continue at the same level or speed.
Example 1. This routine is simple enough to keep up every day.
Example 2. I started strong, but I could not keep up that study plan. Repeat, keep up.
Repeat. Keep up.
Now an expression, get the ball rolling. It means to start something.
Example 1. Ask one easy question to get the ball rolling.
Example 2. A short voice note can get the ball rolling in your daily practice. Repeat, get the ball rolling.
Repeat. Get the ball rolling.
Next expression, in the long run. It means over a longer period of time, not just now.
Example 1. 10 minutes a day helps more in the long run than one big study session.
Example 2. Small habits may feel boring, but they work in the long run. Repeat, in the long run.
Repeat. In the long run.
Next, hit a wall. It means to suddenly feel blocked or unable to continue.
Example 1. I hit a wall in the conversation when I forgot an important word.
Example 2. Many learners hit a wall when they try to sound perfect all the time. Repeat, hit a wall.
Repeat. Hit a wall.
And one more, break the ice. It means to make people feel more comfortable at the beginning of a conversation.
Example 1. A friendly question can break the ice in a new group.
Example 2. Smiling and saying hello is a simple way to break the ice. Repeat, break the ice.
Repeat. Break the ice.
Before we go, let's come back to one simple idea from today. Fluency is not one big moment. It is many small moments added together.
Yes. One question, one voice note, one awkward conversation that somehow teaches you more than a perfect textbook page.
If speaking English feels heavy right now, please be gentle with yourself. Progress can be quiet. Sometimes it looks small before it looks strong.
And if you made mistakes today, that means you were brave enough to use your English, and that matters.
Here's a question to sit with after this episode. What small speaking step are you ready to take this week?
Tell us in the comments. And if this episode helped you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who is trying to speak more confidently.
This is Anna.
And this is Jake.
And you have been listening to Easy Talk English. Bye.